and welcome to the stammerun. Atom knit upper Alphafly is really light. You can see your hand through the weave in it. It's really light, and it reminds me of, you know, those orange bags that you get when you buy an orange. Imagine that, but just really thin, and you know it's a really light weave. You know, airflow is really quite good. The heel counter actually, I think, is really perfect. Actually, it's really good. It's got a it reminds me of a gum shield actually, but it's pretty cool. The laces on these are absolutely perfect. The laces on these are got these little teeth in them, so they tend to stay tight. Don't be confused. The atom knit is definitely different to the vapor weave. This is a bit more coarse. It's not as, I don't think it feels as nice. This is definitely a bit more stiff as opposed to this. Now let's talk about the midsole. So there is a 39mm stack of the ZoomX foam in the heel and 34 in the forefoot. And the reason why I go 34 is because there are AirPods in here, and I don't know if anyone's experienced this, but I haven't yet. I've heard of where the AirPods kind of break or explode over time. I've never had that with these, and I've probably must have put at least 250k on these. So how does it feel? So there's a big massive stack in these, and the foam in these feel different to the foam in the Vaporfly. So I don't know, even just by the kind of squeeze test, I don't know what they've done with the foam in the Vaporfly 2, Fly 1 and the Alphafly. This feels more like the original foam that was in the Vaporfly 1, and this is really soft as against this shoe. Is it a stable shoe? So one of the things that I would say is, if you like a shoe where, say, you've got 39 at the back because of the 34 in the front plus the AirPods, the drop of the shoe isn't so vast, so you always actually feel as if you're quite high. So it's a really weird feeling to handle at first, because you really do feel as though you're up high, and it really does feel as though you're in like some moon boots. But the sensation, once you get over that initial, you feel really high, and you start to go off in the shoe, it actually feels really good. It's definitely one of these strange shoes where you couldn't put it on as a fashion shoe. Not that, I mean, I have no fashion sense at all, but you couldn't walk around in these. You could try to, but it's not something that I would do. It's a bit like taking your sports car around town and being stuck up in town behind all the cars and complaining that the car's not great. This shoe wants to race. This shoe wants to be out there. Doesn't mean that it wants to be doing speed. When I say speed, obviously I mean pace. It wants to be out there. So there's definitely a pace range for this shoe. So the run. So I took these out. So I took my eldest to her club to run, and you get an opportunity to have a little poodle along the track. So I decided on that particular day to take these out on track. I've never taken these out on track, just to give them a little go, and my aim was to finish the 5k and try and get a like a sub 20. So the results of the track. So the run itself felt really good. It was a very enjoyable experience in these. I actually forgot how comfortable and how propulsive they actually feel. So I went around the track. I didn't feel like I was pushing that hard in the first mile or so. So I went around the track, and to my surprise, I actually ended up doing a 5k in 18:08, which I wasn't trying to go for an 18:08. I was just trying to see how fit I actually was, but it's really comfortable. As I say, I didn't think I was in a shape to run 18:08, which is not overly fast, but I was quite happy with that. So yeah, very good. The durability of this shoe. Now, there have been conflicting reports, and a lot of people have said that they would be concerned over the shoe. Now, this is to stress, this is not an everyday shoe. It's not something that I would take out necessarily in the wet or on trails or anywhere basically where there is lots of mud or stones and that kind of stuff, but it's perfectly okay for the road. I've had this shoe for a while now. I have done a couple of marathons in it. I've done a couple of half marathons in it. I've trained in it, and the soles are not too bad. So what I tend to do with the soles of my shoes is something called shoe goo, and I cover the base of the shoe with that stuff. And actually, the heel on this, considering we're probably up through, I said 250, probably more 300k in these, and actually they are in, I don't know if you can see it, but the condition of these is absolutely fantastic even now still. Okay, I've used these sparingly, but they've been on the tarmac, they've actually been on some mud, I've cleaned them up, and there isn't, other than some wear on the heel, but as I say, I put some goo on them, and they actually last a lot longer. And other than the creasing, which is kind of normal for these shoes are absolutely fantastic. I would still be able to probably run another maybe two or three marathons. What I like about this shoe, for me personally, is I tend to hit on the forefoot to the midfoot, but at times when I'm tired, I tend to lean back in the heel, and this is actually really good for that, especially when you come to the end of, say, like a race and you're really tired. Even though you sink back, you don't feel slow in this shoe. You're wherever you are in this shoe is almost the kind of sweet spot in this shoe, especially with the carbon plate. So it's not a rod, there's a full plate, and you can see it here, the fly plate that runs all the way through this shoe. And combination of that shoe means that it doesn't feel as rigid or as hard as some of the other shoes. So what you'll find is, if you've never experienced a carbon shoe before, and they can be quite hard, is that they take some time for your calves and your legs to handle. Whereas with this shoe, this feels more like an easy day, like high stack shoe, but when you want to put like your foot down, it will absolutely go. So let's talk about price. And I was able to pick these up on a deal. These were £150, and whilst that is a lot of money, and I almost get lulled into a mindset of that's a really good deal, like £150, but that's not right. That's still expensive, you know, because they were £220 or £250 new. The fact that they're £150 and they do not produce this shoe for that, you know, what, 40 quid. You know, the fact that you're then led to go like £150 for a pair of shoes that you can use every so often, it's not okay. But £150, and for the ultimate shoe, in the context of prices, is pretty good. So I'm hoping that that's where the Alphafly 2 will come down to when the Alphafly 3 hits the shelves, no doubt at an extortionary price. And in the context of other shoes, for £150, that's just the price of shoes, is it worth when you combine how long they last, the purpose of these shoes, what they can do, etc. Now, for somebody who has run a marathon, or for people that do, or people that will, you know, they do halves, or, you know, you need a shoe that, this is going to sound strange, but you're kind of going to need a shoe that is like your best mate, because for 26 miles, 26.2 miles, when you're tired, your legs ache, you need a shoe that will effectively be there and support you. And this is that shoe. If you can get on with this shoe and get past the price and get past how high it is, also, again, if you pronate, I would think twice about this shoe compared to the Vaporfly. So I think this would suit you more if you pronate to the left or the right compared to the Vaporfly. And I would ultimately recommend this shoe on the basis that it is the best shoe that you'll ever own, even today. I've tried the Alphafly 2. I just prefer this shoe. I've tried so many different shoes, you know, everything from what we've got here, the Saucony Pro 3, which is also a good shoe, the Mizuno Wave Rebellion Pro, interesting shoe, futuristic shoe, interesting shoe. My other favourite shoe, the Adizero Adios Pro 2, I mean, this thing, not this particular version, but we've been through some things together, and the Vaporfly Next Percent 2. Not a massive fan of this one, but still an absolute world-class shoe if you enjoy this shoe on a race day. If you use it sparingly, which I know sounds strange, and I'm not a massive fan of that, but actually compared to some of the other shoes, this will last quite long from my experience. The AirPods are absolutely great. The foam is actually really good. If you can cover the foam at the base with something, it will last as well. And overall, for me personally, this is for me personally, this shoe, I would score this shoe a 10 out of 10. And the reason why I score it 10 out of 10, because when you're out there and you run and you train and you race, when you train hard and you sweat and you put your body through all that stuff, and you just find a pair of shoes that sit, you know, and these shoes have been through sweat, tears, joy, heartache, lots and lots of pain, and you know, I'm going to be super sad when these are up in the shoe sky, as it was, because these have been through absolutely everything. And for me personally, this is the perfect shoe. If I could wear nothing but these every single day to run, to race, to train, I would. This is the all-round greatest shoe that I've ever owned, and to this day is just still up there as the king of the shoes. On that note, don't forget to like, favourite and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.